Hello students, today we will discuss about the histology of vas deferens. Before we study the microscopic or the histological aspect of the vas deferens, you should know the gross anatomy about the vas deferens. So, what is vas deferens? Vas deferens is also called as a ductus deferens. It is a thick muscular walled tube which extends from the epidermis to the ejaculatory duct. In the pelvis, it passes through the inguinal canal as a component of the spermatic cord. At the terminal point of the vas deferens, it forms a ampulla before it opens in the ejaculatory duct. So let's see the microscopic structure of the vas deferens. In this picture you can see this is the cross cut section of the vas deferens. In this cut section you can see a small lumen over here. The lumen you can see very small, and this is the thick muscular layer. This is the thick muscular layer. The lumen has the epithelial layer, or I can say the mucosal layer, and the thick muscular layer outside the epithelial or the lamina propria layer, and outermost thin layer is called as a adventitia. Because of this thick muscular layer, this muscular layer help in the peristaltic movement or the contraction of the tube for the propulsion of the sperm from the epididymis to the ejaculatory duct. So, the three layer from inside out in the microscopic structure is the first one is a mucosa, which has epithelial layer and the lamina propria. The muscle layer, which is very thick. Again, this thick muscle layer has the three layers, and the thin outermost is a adventitia. You can see over here the adventitia layer is a very thin, which has the loose areolar tissue and the blood vessels. In this picture, this is the HE stain slide photograph of the transverse section of the vas deferens. Okay, so this is the lumen. From inside out we have seen the three layer. So inside it gives the star shaped lumen, which is formed by the folding of the longitudinal mucosa. So you can see the star shaped lumen here. Then the epithelium is formed by the pseudostratified columnar epithelium with the stereocilia. You can see under low power also stereocilia. Outside the epithelial layer, there is a thin connective layer which is called as a lamina propria. And outside the lamina propria, you will have the thick muscular layer. The thick muscular layer. And most outermost covering is a adventitia, which has the loose areolar tissue and the blood vessel. You can see over here blood vessels are there, and it is very thin layer. In this picture, you can compare the photograph of the vas deferens, photograph of this slide, and the schematic diagram of the vas deferens. So inside, see, this is a lumen. You can compare these two diagrams. This is the schematic one, and this is the photograph under the low power. So this is pseudostratified columnar epithelium with the stereocilia. Outside there is a connective tissue of the lamina propria, and the thick muscle layer, which has three layers: inner layer, middle layer, and the outer layer. The inner layer, outer layer, and the middle layer. This complete muscle coat is very thick. Again, this thick layer has the inner, middle, and the outer layer. So inner and the outer muscle layer is formed by the longitudinal muscle layer, and the middle muscular layer is formed by the circular muscle layer, which is very thick compared to the inner and the outer muscle cord. And most outermost, again the thin one. Adventitia, here also you can see the blood vessels, a thin areolar tissue and the blood vessel. In this schematic diagram also you can able to see the blood vessels or the loose areolar tissue. If you see the vast difference under the high magnification, you can see the clearly epithelium, which is pseudostratified columnar epithelium. The pseudostratified columnar epithelium has two types of the cell, that is a long or the tall columnar cell which extends from the basal membrane to the lumen and has the stereocilia. You can see here the long cell which extends in the lumen has the stereocilia, and the small basal layer which I can say the darkly stained, which is resting on the basement membrane. So this is the epithelial layer. Outside the epithelial layer, there is a lamina propria which is formed by the connective tissue, and outside that is the inner longitudinal muscle layer. As we have seen, a muscle layer or the middle layer is a very thick, that is the inner and the outer longitudinal muscle, and middle circular layer is a thick. So this thick muscle coat or the muscle layer has the main function, that is it helps in the peristaltic contraction and helps in the propulsion of the sperms. The outermost thin layer is the adventitia, which has the loose areolar tissue and the blood vessels. This is about the microscopic structure of the vas deferens. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you like the video, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Thank you so much.